Huo Ying, Muyi, Ninja. Crossing the fire shadow. Yang Tai feels like this joke is too big. There are no cheats, if you insist, your knowledge of going to college is barely worth it. Yang Tai's current idea is to stand in line and survive smoothly with the old man. Unexpectedly, Yang Tai opened the door to a new world, and it turned out that combining ninjutsu was the ceiling. So that's what the Flying Thunder God is all about. The magic chakra is so stable. From then on, Yang Tai's confidence greatly increased, and he aspired to become the Hokage, unifying the ninja realm. Chapter 1. Opening of the Heavenly Collapse, Modified. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A cute and pioneering work, a brain storage place, the land of fire. My Village Hotel. What, Zhongren Exam Qualification Certificate. Yang Tai knelt down in frustration, with a white note swaying and drifting down in his hand. Damn it. What kind of fox friends and dog friends did he encounter here? Yesterday, Snow Country returned after completing a mission. The 3 members of the team went to have barbecue and drink to celebrate, but ended up drinking too much. I insist on taking the 2 of them to sign up for the Chinese ninja exam. Yang Tai himself has few chakras, and his strength is barely tolerated by elites. His only advantage is his good brain and proficiency in sealing techniques. I originally made an appointment with 2 other strong friends to participate in the Chinese ninja exam together. Now not only have 2 pigeons been put up, but also 2 oil bottles have been brought along. You should know that once you form a team, it cannot be lifted, and you must wait until the next Chinese ninja exam to regroup. Let's start the game with the collapse of the scattered group. Scattered groups are different from fixed groups like Naruto. They are scattered for many reasons. Some of the team leaders have died in endurance, retired, or do not have a team leader, so everyone forms a team based on relationships. As for the number of people, there is no limit, but usually 3 or 4 people form a team, otherwise the commission will not be enough. Yang Tai backhanded himself a big fight, tears of regret streaming down his eyes. Even if I were a traveler, I wouldn't have given myself such a big surprise, my goodness. What's the use of foresight now? If it were an ordinary Chinese ninja exam, it would be fine, but the problem is that this time it is jointly organized by my village and Shine Village, and other nearby small ninja villages are also joining in the fun. A bunch of elites from other countries are enduring it. And Yang Tai was well prepared for this competition, for a simple reason. As a civilian ninja, if you want to increase your chances of success, there are already few channels, but you just need to join a certain faction, Hokage faction, family faction. The result is very clear. Yang Tai can only choose the Hokage faction. And the Hokage faction is not that simple. It can be roughly divided into 3 branches: Fire Shadow, Upper Ninja Class, and Root. Firstly, Yang Tai excludes the roots, and even dogs do not go there. Secondly, excluding the previous ninja class lineage, it's not that Yang Tai doesn't want to join, but rather that he really wants to join. However, the tradition of going to the ninja class is similar to the inheritance method between master and disciple. Yang Tai's Zhongren teacher has already received boxed meals, so he had no way in, so he had told his guardian Maruyuki Kosuka about this matter. However, the old man's temper was a bit stubborn. He not only rejected Yang Tai's idea, but also poured him a few bowls of poisonous chicken soup. What can Yang Tai do about this? He can only find another way out. There is no way out, and this year marks the beginning of the original Nakamura Leaf Collapse plan. The 3 generations of old men were cool, and the 5 generations of Huo Ying gangs Hokage ascended to power. The saying goes, 1 emperor, 1 courtier. Regardless of her perspective, Gangs Hokage will definitely cultivate her own power. This is inevitable. So the opportunity for Yang Tai to rise has come, which is to participate in this Chinese ninja exam, and achieve good results, which may lead to some resource allocation for the 5 dynasties Fire Shadow Master. It would be even better if they were valued and focused on training. Some people say that this is not eating soft rice. There's no way, it's better than being hungry. But now the biggest problem has come. Previously, On Tai's plan relied on the prior knowledge and foresight of his own travelers, with the addition of 2 strong teammates. Passing the first written test and the second Death Forest test is not a big problem. As for the third exam, it all depends on luck, maybe you'll pass it. It's better now, whether we can pass through the Death Forest or not is a matter of 2. Looking at the qualification certificate for the Chinese ninja exam on the ground, Yang Tai pounded her chest again, still careful to keep it away. I can't help it. The soldiers come and the generals block it. It's almost noon. Let's go and check the 2 oil bottles first. Although I got drunk yesterday, I vaguely remember someone treating me to barbecue this afternoon. Of course, Yang Tai definitely didn't go for the barbecue. Well, it definitely wasn't for the barbecue. Yang Tai nodded confidently, tidying up her blonde hair in front of the mirror, putting on a forehead protector and a blue casual suit, and heading to the barbecue restaurant. Chenzi Barbecue Shop. Dai, do you think Yang Tai's guy will come? Jin Tian Yiming pulled a chubby face, absent-mindedly inserting a bamboo stick into the barbecue in front of him. Before, this piece of meat was already his dead soul under his mouth. Yuan Shodai looked helplessly at the chubby little guy in front of him and decided to team up with him. It's better to abstain, he will definitely come for such an important matter. After finishing speaking, he picked up the beer in front of him and was about to drink it when he caught a glimpse of Yang Tai with blonde hair coming in. He immediately stood up and greeted him, Yang Tai. Sure enough, everyone was there. Yang Tai smiled and waved her hand, then sat down next to Yuan Shodai, hooking her shoulder with one hand. Dai, are you ready for the whale of your wallet? Yuan Shodai struggled for a moment and saw that she couldn't escape the clutches of Yang Tai. She seemed to accept her fate and slapped her wallet on the table. A man is a big man, 1 spit and 1 nail, eat whatever you want. Huh, you have courage, man. Yang Tai smiled and patted Dai's shoulder, then turned to see the little chubby man looking at him with a resentful expression on his face. What's wrong, chubby man? Don't you have an appetite today? You're still sick. Asked knowingly. Both of them gave Yang Tai a cold eye at the same time, and there was no pressure in their hearts for what they had done. Cough cough. What are you planning on? Tell me, Yang Tai coughed a few times to ease her embarrassment, and then asked in a serious tone. Yuan Shodai touched his buttocks, pondered for a moment, and replied. I plan to give up. My ability is to rely on psychic beasts for reconnaissance, and battles are basically dragging my feet. Yang Tai's face remained unchanged, and her heart sank. She looked at Jin Tian and let out a cry. I'm just a perception ninja, setting traps well, fighting just like usual, and I'm ready to give up. The chubby little one let out a bitter smile and spread his hand. Sure enough, the worst thing has happened. It's really the hemp rope that breaks in every detail, and the misfortune that hits the hardest hit person. It doesn't matter if it's a regular ninja exam, but this time it's different. Can the joint examination of the 2 major ninja villages, like their Olympic gold medals and national gold medals in their past lives, have the same level of gold content? The most important thing is that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the common people, as power shifts and they need to ride the easy ride of Gangsho. This is also why Yang Tai insisted on taking this exam, becoming a member of the Hokage lineage and gaining resources, allowing for a more secure passage through the 4th ninja war with the old man. Don't you think about it anymore? Yang Tai asked with the last hint of luck in her heart. What are you thinking about? 2 detectives, you're still a SEAL assistant, how can you fight? The chubby little man shouted and drank a glass of beer, shaking his glass and asking in return. Gudu, yeah, we can't win at all. You should understand, right? Yuan Shodai also drank a big glass of beer and shook his head in frustration. Pop. Can't win at all. I don't understand. Yang Tai grabbed his glass and gulped 3 large glasses in a row. Upon hearing Yang Tai's words, the two of them looked together at Yang Tai, who was slowly lowering his glass, and didn't give up. I'm already 16, virtual 17, gross 18, and in a blink, it's 20. Yang Tai excitedly pointed at himself and watched as the two continued. Until now, I still have to endure. The fat man comforted and said, it's okay now, let's wait for another 2 years if it's okay. Even if you don't take the exam in 2 years, the two of us will still force you to take the exam. Pop. Yang Tai stood up and pointed at the chubby man's nose, angrily saying. At the earliest, Dai invited us to participate in the Chinese ninja exam. You said to wait for 2 years. What about the result? 2 years later, 2 more years later. I had already contacted Oda and the others, but this kind of thing happened with you. You want me to wait for another 2 years? Do you know how I spent these 6 years? Yuan Shodai quickly called Yang Tai's nickname to appease him and said, Yongdai's sister, cold. Yongdai Mei is already dead, did you choose her idol? Yang Tai's nickname made her face blush, and she immediately waved her hand and made up her mind to say. I have decided to take the exam, but even the Hokage cannot stop me, as I said. When it comes to this matter, the two of them feel a bit ashamed. They are classmates and have a good relationship together. Once participating in the Chinese ninja exam, little fatty Yiming refused, and the second time Yuan Shodai refused. Originally, the two of them did not intend to take this exam, but unfortunately, this happened. Do we have to refuse again? After speaking these words, Yang Tai felt comfortable and glanced at the two of them who were silent, with a slight mockery on his lips, he said. You two are about the same age as me. Think about Shaoli, who only became a ninja last year, and they all participated, even the 3rd generation of Naruto participated. Can it be that you two are not as good as Shaoli, who only knows physical skills, and Naruto, who doesn't even know clone skills, crane tail? Bang! The chubby little man slammed the table with a loud roar, blushed, and shouted, who said that? Don't insult anyone, a useless person who only knows physical skills, a crane tail. How dare you compare with me? It worked. Yang Tai's mouth curved slightly, and he added up to more than 30 people himself, unable to handle 2 rebellious young people. Hee, it's just a waste in your mouth. If you dare to take the Chinese ninja exam, you 2 excellent ninjas will become cowardly turtles. The little chubby man's expression immediately froze with a roar, unable to speak, and his neck turned red with anger. He grabbed the grilled meat in front of him and bit it, his eyes filled with anger, staring closely at Yang Tai's mocking face. Yang Tai, don't go too far. Yuan Shodai couldn't bear to hear Yang Tai's sarcastic remarks. I'm sorry. Yang Tai quickly apologized, appearing innocent and continuing to intensify his efforts towards the two. I didn't expect the glass hearts of the 2 excellent ninjas to be so fragile that they would shatter before I even touched them. Yang Tai watched the 2 of them burning with anger and decided to add a big fire, deliberately elongating their voices and pausing each word. However, are you planning to endure in the middle after the age of 20 or after the age of 30? Is it true that you want to endure for a lifetime? These 3 questions seemed like straw overwhelming the last camel, and the chubby little one let out a cry, pointing fiercely at Yang Tai, isn't it just a Chinese ninja exam? The young master has taken it. Whoever doesn't take it today, their son. You 2 bastards. Yuan Shodai angrily pointed at the 2 people and cursed, then drank a glass of beer, slightly crazy. All right. You 2 go crazy together. Young master and I are also crazy. Who doesn't go whose grandson? Okay, the 3 of us are going crazy. Yang Tai stood up and reached out his hand. Yuan Shodai and Yi Ming exchanged a glance, reaching out and resting their hands on it. Let's pass the Zhongren exam together. Yang Tai finally breathed a sigh of relief and managed to handle these 2 guys. The next step is to plan the exam carefully. Oh, who spoke so loudly? It turns out that the successor of the Will of Fire. Big guys, please support, please collect, please remind me to keep up, don't raise me anymore, I've vomited from eating stones. Chapter 2. Plan. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The piercing and strange sounds of yin and yang became familiar to Mrs. Yang, and when she turned her head, she saw 3 people standing up at the next table. Just now, the young man with tied hair pulled at the forehead guard tied around his neck and looked at Yang Tai with a mocking expression on his face. Rock. Yang Tai hands his forehead, it's really a headache, troublesome guy. Yamamoto Iwaki is Yang Tai's classmate. Originally, this was a good thing, but I don't know what kind of stimulation this guy has received since childhood, and he insists on confronting himself. As for that nickname, it was a book about the Will of Fire that I casually carried with me every day when I was a child. I was jokingly referred to as the successor of the Will of Fire, although it was very shameful, it was necessary. This is all my future qualifications. Hey, what do you mean? I hate your expression the most. You've been stinking since I was young, Yamamoto Izuma said as he pointed to Yang Tai-chu, looking like he had eaten feces. Black fans. Understand, let him argue. Yang Tai dug out her ears and sat down to chew the grilled meat slowly, as if I hadn't heard anything. Yamamoto Izuma saw that Yang Taisai didn't bother him at all and couldn't repair it. He angrily pounded the table and caught a glimpse of Yuan Shodai, who was giggling. He couldn't help but feel angry. You are a useless person who only knows how to play with cats. You also want to pass the ninja exam and have your big dreams. You useless. Yen, don't go too far, keep your mouth clean. What's wrong with me playing with cats? I ate your rice. Yuan Shodai stood up and retorted, saying that he hates people saying he's playing with cats the most. Aren't you a waste? Who shouted for help while we were on team last time? Is that you, Taro? Yamamoto Iwaki deliberately asked his teammates next to him in a strange and sinister manner. Ha ha ha, Yen, you're so forgetful. Isn't that person right in front of you? Ha ha ha. The nearby Taro deliberately pouted and laughed wildly. Yuan Shodai clenched his fists tightly, with a hint of tears in his angry eyes. Look, how old you are. You're about to cry. Hurry up and go home to find your mother. Ha ha ha. Yen, you're too much, no matter what, we're all classmates. The chubby little boy stood up and angrily pointed at Yamamoto Yen. Ha ha ha, isn't this a chubby 9-year-old who still wets his pants? Yamamoto Izuma carefully looked at him and let out a loud cry, spitting out a toothpick from his mouth towards the chubby guy. He burst into laughter and exposed the chubby guy's embarrassing situation. Yang Taizai continued to eat the grilled meat. Of course he understood that he was being provoked. He looked at his teammates, who had poor psychological resilience, and shook his head secretly. How can it be repaired? The chubby little man waved his hand and slapped the toothpick, quickly rushing over and punching the face door of Yamamoto Rock. This was the thing he couldn't bear the most. Originally, he was pranked by his classmates and splashed water on him. Later, I don't know who spread the rumors, saying he wet his pants. The problem was that his classmates believed it. Yamamoto Izuma's mouth was raised too slowly, and he dodged the chubby boy's punch with his side. The punch passed through his ear and made a piercing sound. Yo, the force was still strong. With a kick, it hit the chubby little guy's chest, flipped several somersaults and stopped next to Yang Tai, covering his chest and gasping for breath. Bastard, you. This crazy dog. Fatty guy, I see you have a tough mouth all over your body. Let the master loosen your bones. Yamamoto Izuma's eyes became fierce and he dared to curse. Today, he needs to repair this fat guy well. Saying Yamamoto Izuma, he used a teleportation technique to reach the chubby guy and stepped down hard with his foot raised. Pop. Yang Tai leaned down and grabbed Yamamoto Iwaki's ankle with one hand, saying coldly, "Enough of this commotion. How can we fix it? It's always this kind of expression that causes trouble. Take the move." Yamamoto Izuma's expression was slightly fierce, as he flipped over and kicked at the door of the Sun Tai face. "This time, he will definitely crush your stinky face." Yang Tai raised her eyebrows and a handful of bitter nothings appeared in her hand, aiming straight at the kick. As long as the opponent dared to kick it, at least this foot was useless. Yamamoto Izuma was shocked and quickly turned around to break free from the grip on his ankle, then quickly retreated. "It's now." Yang Tai slapped the inside of his thigh with a backhand, causing Yamamoto Izuma to lose his balance and fall to the ground. Yamamoto Izuma immediately stood up and angrily pointed at Yorita, saying, "This doesn't count. If we have the ability, let's go to the training ground and play again." "You lost," Yang Tai shook her head and said lightly, pointing to Yamamoto Izuma's thigh. Everyone looked in the direction of Yang Tai's fingers and saw a napkin attached to the inner thigh of Yamamoto Iwata. Napkins. Everyone was surprised. Originally, they thought that Yang Tai had only gained a slight advantage, but now it seems that the other party is completely holding back. If the napkins were replaced with explosive talismans, Yamamoto Iwaki would have died. Yamamoto Izuma was also surprised at the bottom of his heart. He slowly clenched the napkin tightly and looked cautiously at Yamamoto. "I thought I had surpassed Yang Tai in my cultivation over the years, but it seems that I am too arrogant." Yang Tai understood that his own strength was similar to that of Yamamoto Iwata, and that the other party had lost too carelessly, only to be blinded by anger. "Let's go." Yang Tai picked up the chubby boy and signaled to Yuan Shodai to walk out. Seeing Yang Tai about to leave Yamamoto Izuma, I couldn't help but shout out, "Yang Tai, you coward! Are you afraid? Don't you dare to fight me again." Yang Tai stopped and everyone turned their gaze to him, as there were also many diners looking towards him due to the previous commotion. "What's wrong, are you taking the challenge?" Yamamoto continued to provoke. "Yen, you have disappointed me too much." Shaking his head, he placed the fat man's arm on his shoulder, and Yang Tai suddenly had a small plan. "I used to see you as a rival in school, and we had our own ups and downs. At that time, I was very happy to have opponents like you. But when I met you today, I realized that you are no longer worthy of being my opponent before. Although you were arrogant, domineering, and had a bad mouth, you would stand out for your classmates in the class. I never bully the weak, and everyone likes to play with you. Look at you now, arrogant, bullying your companions. Are you still you?" This Chinese ninja exam, elite ninjas from surrounding countries came to participate. It was so dangerous, you should know. Although Fatty and Dai are weak, they dare to gamble their lives to participate and bring glory to the village. You are such an excellent ninja, but you didn't take the exam to deal with the ninjas from other villages. Instead, you bullied your own companions. You don't deserve to be a ninja like Konoha. Everyone present was moved by their resounding words. Yeah, Fat and Dai are so weak that they dare to gamble their lives to bring glory to the village. However, many people, including myself, did nothing, and their eyes towards the fat man and Dai suddenly changed, becoming respectful and admirable. The two of them couldn't help but hold their heads high. Starting from becoming ninjas, I have never been recognized by many people before, and suddenly a sense of pride arises. They also dare to gamble their lives to bring glory to the village. This time, they must strive for excellence in the Chinese ninja exam. Yang Tai smiled slightly, took 1 stone and 3 birds, and achieved his goal. He then helped the fat man to the nearby medical clinic. By using this moral kidnapping method, not only does it enhance their confidence and determination, but if this incident spreads in a barbecue restaurant, so it would be even better if more Konoha ninjas could participate in the Chinese ninja exam. A good little plan. Surprisingly, this commoner has shown it all over. How can it be repaired? Taro, are you interested in taking the Chinese ninja exam? Yamamoto Izuma forcefully threw the paper in his hand into the trash can, turned around, and asked the two of them, his eyes flickering with eagerness to try. Huh, even those two useless idiots dare to participate. What are we afraid of? In the medical clinic. Take the chubby little guy to a nearby medical clinic and confirm that it was only a minor injury. However, the angle is a bit tricky, which can be overwhelming for a while. Yang Tai explained to the two that they needed some things for the exam, and then the three of them separated and prepared to go. Passing by a ninja shop, Yang Tai asked when she would like to order her customized items and confirmed that they will be tomorrow afternoon. Buy some vegetables and go home. It's really new that someone else treats them and goes home hungry. Pushing open the courtyard door, Yang Tai saw the old man watering the flowers and exclaimed with joy, "Old man, I'm back." Chapter 3. Inheritance, Modified. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as Maruyuki heard the sound, he looked up at Yang Tai with a smile and said, "It's good to be back, it's good. Knowing that my grandson has grown up, but as soon as he goes out to do tasks, he becomes completely exhausted, I have become a bit anxious, and now that I have safely returned, I feel at ease." This person is a ruthless person who has followed the second-generation Hokage, the third-generation Hokage, and the fourth-generation Hokage, and is willing to endure it for the rest of his life. The place where Maru Shingu lives is quite close to Yang Tai's orphanage. At the age of 5, Yang Tai discovered Maruki Kosuka and slowly approached him. Maruyuki Kosuka, who has been a ninja for his whole life, is certainly not easy to approach, even a 5-year-old child cannot do it. As for why he was so tolerant towards Yang Tai in his yard later on. Yang Tai is certain, Maruyuki Kosuka has checked his own information and concluded that the root is correct and the seedling is red. Later on, as time passed, I developed feelings and decided to adopt it directly for a simple reason. To take care of myself. Moreover, Maru Shingu Jie is good at Yang Taiji, completely imparting knowledge to each other, Kowu, sword throwing in hand, swordsmanship, illusion, and water escape are taught one by one. Unfortunately, there are too few Yang Tai chakras, making it difficult to learn illusions. When used, it's just like that. As for the ninjutsu of water escape, it does not have a large amount of chakras and its power is too small. It only has power in specific situations, such as by the river. However, during these 5 years of perseverance, Yang Tai has become quite proficient in martial arts such as throwing swords, swordsmanship, and shadow clone techniques, as well as being highly proficient in family sealing techniques. Old man, let's go for a walk. Let me tell you about the delicious food in the snow country, such as ice jade fish. Yang Tai smiled and pulled Gu Jie's rough big hand as she walked towards the house. Older people need to chat with him more in order for him to be happy. At night. Old man, this fish is delicious today. Yang Tai picked up the dishes on the table and muttered, maybe it's been over a month since I went out, and my mouth has become a lot lighter. Today, the old man made it very fragrant. Hee, it's not worse than that ice jade fish, is it? Gu Jie said while drinking mushroom soup. Old man, how about I participate in this year's Chinese ninja exam? Yang Tai said as the topic changed. Yang Tai knows that this is a rare Chinese ninja exam in many countries and wants to ask for some tips. This year is different from the past. Our village of Mai and the village of Xiayin in Fengji jointly hold this Chinese ninja exam. In addition, there were more than 10 small ninja villages around, big and small, who participated and were successfully selected as Zhongren, which was extremely difficult. I think you know all this, kid. Why are you asking me? The old man. Gu Jie stirred the mushroom soup in the bowl and asked with some confusion. Hee, I'll just ask the old man and explain the ways in detail. Chopsticks tugged at the rice, eyes hooked on Gu Jie. If you insist on the right path, then if you become a candidate for Zhongren this year, your 8th achievement will be internally designated as Shangren, and at worst, it will be particularly Shangren, Old Master Gu Jie pondered. Sure enough. No wonder the top 12 have all been given a certain level of importance. Old man, do you have any powerful ninjutsu? Yang Taihua asked with a twist of her voice. The old man had a black face and asked, Swordsmanship Willow, have you learned it? Have you finished practicing the water hammer? Ha! Ha, old man, you don't know that I don't have many chakras, but what can I do with practicing ninjutsu like water tap bullet. It's not like spitting out a small splash of water. As for the swordsmanship Willow, my talent is there and when I use it, its power is not significant. What I want is the kind of ninjutsu that chakra doesn't require much and has greater power. Yang Taijia smiled twice and spread out his hand. Can he blame himself for this? I also want that kind of ninjutsu. The old man's face twitched. Look at what people say, old man, I want it too. Daydreaming. How many times have I told you that unless there is a gap like a chasm between ninjas, the power of ninjutsu depends on the person. Just because you have fewer chakras doesn't mean you can't become a ninja. Becoming a ninja factor does not require strong ninjutsu skills, but rather gathering intelligence, making the most accurate judgments within current abilities, and completing tasks to deliver intelligence. This endurance exam is very dangerous, but the danger is proportional to being taken seriously. You clever little devil, be careful, show some talent, and protect your companions. Understood. To put it simply, it's similar to a fashion show. Just come out and take a walk, stroll around, and try to impress some people. Then those people will take you into the hotel. Well, no, into the organization. Got it, I'll be careful. At night. Mr. Gu Jia stopped his pen and carefully read the letter in his hand, then satisfactorily put it away. In the morning. Huo Ying Tower. Huo Ying office. Ape Flying Sun / held a smoking gun and carefully looked at the letter in his hand. Kaitai's grandson. I didn't expect it to be so big already. What Gu Jia's old boy means is that this child is going to take the Chinese ninja exam this year and wants to inherit and inherit. Is it too early now? The monkey Flying Sun / began to swallow clouds and mist, and according to the system, the child could only inherit the things requested by the ancient chieftain until at least Zhongren. I picked up Yang Tai's materials and task report to read. Name. Yang Tai Lon Chi age. 15 ninja level. Lower ninja S. Level task. 0A. Level task. 0B. Level task. 0C. Level task. 373D. Level task. 512 analysis. Excellent intelligence gathering ability. Excellent judgment ability. Excellent command ability. Proficient in sealing techniques. The members of the lower ninja circle are extremely high, earning the title of mission expert. The ninjas in the middle and upper ranks of the team are highly praised. Overall strength is average. Less chakra volume, father. Blue Pond Gray Soil, formerly served as the deputy class leader of the sealing class and sacrificed himself in the Nine Tails Rebellion, mother. Lulin Qingzi, formerly worked in the sealing class and sacrificed herself in the Nine Tails Rebellion, note. He is friendly and approachable, often reading through the Will of Fire and writing about his observations. He is highly praised as a task expert in his patience. Task expert. It's a good seedling. Grandpa is a subordinate of the second-generation adults. My father is from my own generation. Summary. It is a fire shadow faction with a straight and red root, and with a wave of the monkey Flying Sun's red brush, it wrote a large accurate character. The sky is sunny. Young stretched too much and stretched lazily, it's really comfortable. Sure enough, sleeping at home is the most reassuring, there is no need to be constantly vigilant and take precautions around. I took a comfortable bath and played with my golden hair in front of the mirror, is this beauty still a bit handsome? After a very coquettish pose, he went out satisfied. Explosive symbol, sword in hand, Steel wire. There aren't many additional ninja tools added this time. I don't know if the customized ninja tools have arrived. Ah, the world is difficult. It's too difficult to think about a few days of stable life. My village is fine, but there are too many conflicts outside the village. Thinking about it gives Yang Tai a headache, and soon, Orochimaru will be implementing the Muba collapse plan. Yang Tai's current idea is to safely overcome the crisis. During the reign of the 5 dynasties Hokage, they held their thighs tightly and tried to gain resources from the Hokage faction to enhance their strength, ensuring the safety of the old man and themselves. As for informing the 3rd generation Hokage of the information about Orochimaru, Yang Tai didn't even think about it. This year's Chinese ninja exam is about how well prepared Kiba village is to show off her muscles. It's like a country entering a first level of readiness. From bottom to top, from the shadow of the fire, to the roots, to the major families, are you joking? Besides, what's the use of knowing it for the 3rd generation Hokage? At most, they can keep one backup, and they can't do anything else. Instead, they can't escape to the interrogation room after the fact. Why bother? Yang Tai. A green figure appeared in front of Yang Tai, watermelon head, thick eyebrows, holding a large cloth bag, jumping high and lifting his legs in place. Lelek. Xiao Li. Is this training? Yang Tai and Li Lok have known each other for 2 years and have also completed several C-level missions together. Generally, people in fixed classes can break up when the team leader or other companions have something to do. While doing tasks and practicing, do Yang Tai need to train together? Let's burn our youth. Li Lok's eyes were shining, staring straight at Yang Tai. Chapter 4. Family Inheritance, Revised. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yang Tai. What a sin. Last time, Yang Tai trained for a day to get up close with Li Luocula. And then he lay in the hospital bed for 3 days, which scared the old man. Looking back now, I still have lingering palpitations. Xiao Li, I have something else to do. I'll train with you when I have time. That's good sometimes. It's bad. 7 minutes without delivery, jump rope 1,000 times. Yang Tai saw the green shadow running towards the end of the street in front of him. He truly deserves to be a genius in physical arts. Otherwise, who would be so energetic? I can't compare. Shaking her head, Yang Tai walked towards the ninja shop. Check the goods and pay. A total of 5.52 million taels. Suddenly returned to the pre-liberation period overnight. This can be the reward for Yang Tai's almost 6 years of savings and hundreds of tasks he has spent recklessly. Yang Tai kept caressing his wallet, leaving only a breath. As early as 2 months ago, Yang Tai customized 3 ninja items. A straight long sword made of chakra metal, worth 5 million taels, this is Yang Tai's savings for 5 years. A multi-functional dark red 4th generation version windbreaker with a side bottom, with 7 places for sealing ninja tools, totaling 530,000 taels. 6 special materials make steel wires, which is 20,000 taels cheaper. Put a few things into a windbreaker, buy a few dishes, and take a stroll back home. There were only a few sparse people on the path, and Yang Tai politely greeted them. I thought about eating pickled Chinese cabbage fish or braised pork belly today. Whoosh! A black shadow flashed in front of me, and a gray figure suddenly appeared in front of me, thinking happily about lunch. Yang was too surprised. Instant body technique. At a distance, his subordinates instinctively reached for the ninja bag at his waist and looked cautiously at the incoming person. Monkey mask. The dark side. How could it be the dark side? The Dark Department is a special department that only obeys orders from the Hokage. Is Hokage asking me to perform a special mission? No, I understand the weight I have the most. As for being invited to join the dark side, it's even more impossible. My strength is far from enough. Blue Pool Yang Tai, asked the monkey mask's dark side coldly. Yang Tai nodded slightly, as long as the other party didn't make a move. Calm down, Yang Tai has also figured it out. At most, he will be handed over by the third Hokage to inquire about some things. Slowly lift the alert. The dark ninja saw Yang Tai put down his guard, took out a 30-centimeter purple scroll, threw it to Yang Tai, and disappeared in front of him in a flash. On the order of Lord Hokage, deliver the inheritance scroll of the Blue Pool clan to the current leader of the Blue Pool clan, Blue Pool Yang Tai. Yang Tai raised her hand and fired a miniature sleeve arrow from her arm, with a special steel wire attached to the tail end. It looks a bit like Spider-Man shooting spider silk. With one pull, the steel wire wrapped around the scroll several times and stopped in front of Yang Tai. Family inheritance. Can being alone be considered a family? I don't have time to think too much. Yang carefully checked the scroll to see if there were any hidden hands left, especially poison. During a mission to Cheyenne village, Yang Tai suffered from poison and was very wary of what strangers gave him. Confirming that there was no problem, Yang Tai quickly retracted the scroll and returned home. Old man. Old man. Hey, here we are. Old man Gujie hurriedly came out of the kitchen with a frying spoon and saw his grandson constantly shaking the scroll in his hand. What good thing. It makes you happy like this. Family inheritance, personally delivered by the Dark Department of the Fire Shadow Lord sect. Old man, take a look. Yang Tai excitedly said and without any hesitation, handed the scroll to Gujie. Old Master Gujie didn't refuse either. Do the grandsons still care about this? Carefully scrutinized, handed the frying spoon to Yang Tai, and opened the scroll to browse carefully. The densely packed tadpole script on the scroll, Yang Tai knew it was a seal rune. There is a large, Chuan, character in the middle of the rune. There are still quite a few things. Mr. Gujie muttered to himself and took 3 steps to the left, almost there. Single-handed not printed. Open. Bang. After a burst of white mist, 3 boxes appeared in front of me, 2 1-meter-long blue scrolls, and 1 scroll about 50 centimeters long. At that time, Yang Tai lost all her saliva. Is this the legendary The 9 Yang Manual? Hurry up and open a large scroll. The first line. Yang Tai's face became serious. Then give it a rough sweep. His face became solemn. Then pull some more apart and take a look. Gan Lin Yang. What the hell is he? Production sealing technique. What do I need these ghost symbols for? I haven't learned enough in these years. Spiritual scroll. What is the blank area in the middle of the ghost symbol? Are you a vegetable grower? Yang doesn't believe in evil. Take the second scroll and open it. Blue Pond Gray Soil. Blue Pool Kai Tai. Blue Pond Gray Soil knows who it is, isn't it his own father? Who is this Blue Pool Kai Tai? No, I seem to have forgotten something. Gan Lin Yang. Surprisingly, it's not a ninjutsu scroll. What's the use of this iron rod for me? Oh. Not right. What's the use of this scroll I need? Looking at the small scroll again, it is still a ghost symbol. Yang Tai's heart was half cold, and his gaze turned to the 3 boxes. This was his last hope. I have been studying sealing for 5 years, but I am not interested in it. The height of the 3 box is about 60 centimeters. It's about 40 centimeters wide and looks like it can hold a lot of things. Yang Tai opens the first box. What caught my eye was a yellowed book. Upon opening it, I flipped through a few more pages. This is a diary, and the author's name is Lulin Qingzi. Turns out this is my mother's diary. There isn't much content in the diary. Yang Tai probably glanced at it a few times. The diary records very short content from before the age of 16, followed by a love history with my father. Then I have visited tourist attractions, landforms, and local customs in various countries. On the last page of the diary, half a word was written. Yang Tai looked at it for a long time, like a handwritten word. Then I flipped through the things below, most of which were manuscripts for setting up and repairing barriers. I flipped through a few more books below, including 6 Bounds, Sealing Evil Technique Seal, and Sealing Technique Explanation. Hey, it's better than nothing. Continue flipping down. Wind escape. Blazing wind palm foam done. Vacuum blade happiness came too suddenly, and Yang Tai didn't know whether to laugh or not. The feeling of opening the blind box didn't disappoint him. Don't worry for now, look at the feeling of reading the secret script, leave it until the end. Keep flipping through, what good things are waiting for you. The rest is similar to some cultivation experience and insights. Yang Tai opened the second box and there is still a diary on it. This may be what we call inheritance, right? Yang Tai opened it and started browsing. After a while, join the diary. Yang Tai Bai, 3 bows. Maru Zinguji. Omega, as for you. Yang nodded confidently, the person who wrote the diary is a tough nut. It's his grandfather. The entire process of the diary is written very rigorously, without the flashy things of my own mother. It records the story of a person who killed someone from childhood to adulthood, and finally died in battle on the battlefield. Yang Tai. Sigma, to make a living he's a ruthless person. According to records, he fought alongside the first and second Hokage and died in the Second Ninja World War. He is a meritorious elite Shanren. Elite, endure it. The saliva from the corner of Yang Tai's mouth flowed out, is the 9 Yang manual yours? Hurry up and flip through things. 34 books have no names. Yang Tai roughly examined them and recorded the technique of spiritual communication. To be precise, it is a record of manufacturing a spirit beast scroll. Yang Tai can't figure it out. Is it possible that his family has inherited these messy things? Keep flipping down. Water escape. Water chaos waves water escape. Water prison water escape. Water slug water escape. Water formation wall water escape. Instant water ancestral water escape. Yang flipped too much, there really isn't any other ninjutsu with other attributes. No, not necessarily. Grandpa's box must have been flipped over by Dad. It's the last one. Opening it is still the same process. It tells the story of a second-generation ninja's cultivation process. There is no water in the innate attributes, so for now, I can only repair other attributes, so my dad chose soil. It wasn't until the age of 23 that I refined the water attribute chakra, and fortunately inherited my grandfather's ninjutsu. To be honest, Yang Tai doesn't want to read the books in the middle. She's in the same sealing class as her mother. Can you tell me what the things in the middle will be? Sealing fire method seal, 5 elements seal, 12 unknown names of sealing techniques, finally, it's the big show. Tuduan Tuha Che Tu Dun. 2 long bullet earth escape. Earth formation wall Tuduan. Tulong spear Tuduan. Yu-Wei transformation fire escape. Big fireball fire escape. Fire wave fire escape. Multiple combo bullet. The remaining 9 books are all Grandpa's insights. Sure enough, it's here with Dad. Sure enough, Father's collection is the most abundant. Truly worthy of being the head of a family. Chapter 5. Combination Ninjutsu, Modified. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But the problem is, although Yang Tai has 5 innate attributes, he lacks blue. Gan Lin Yen. Yang Tai angrily threw the book in his hand into the wooden box. The only use of these things is my mother's wind escape ninjutsu, which is quite helpful, but I can only use 1 to 2 wind escape ninjutsus to check my own amount of energy. Stop cooking after use. As for Huo Dun, Yang Tai didn't even look at it. After learning the technique of the Great Fireball, he gave up. A fireball the size of a watermelon, tell me what's the use of wasting chakras? You kid doesn't know what to do. Gu Jie cooked the dishes and wiped his hands to educate him. You see, the ability to create teleportation scrolls was passed down from the second generation of adults at that time. Ordinary teleportation scrolls can only sign contracts with living creatures, but this is different. Even dead creatures can sign contracts. Gu Jie wiped his hands and pointed to the 1 meter fast scroll, saying, "Dead object." Yang Tai scratched his head in confusion. Yes, it is said that after the second generation of adults signed a contract with the sea, water escape ninjutsu made great progress. This is still an empty scroll, don't be ignorant, said Mr. Gu Jie as he flipped through other books. Yang Tai was taken aback. When I used to watch anime, someone in the comments section seemed to have said, the second generation Hokage seems to have signed a contract with the sea. However, Yang Tai still holds a reserved attitude. If Qianshou Zhang really signs a contract with the sea, that's not a problem with him hanging a hammer after he's dirty. So this answer is not very accurate. It is possible to sign a spiritual contract with a certain sea area. Because Yang Tai remembers that he seems to be able to telepathize and release water every day. But this is a path to wealth. If you don't need to check your own carrot, you can definitely sell it. Suddenly, Yang Tai's whole face smiled like a chrysanthemum. The old man glanced at his foolish grandson and understood what he was thinking. He said, "Don't think too much, this business has long belonged to several big families." What? Like a bolt from the blue, Yang Tai wilted again. He had originally planned to become rich overnight, but now he can only think about it. Second-generation adults really need to pass it on. Why do they pass it on to so many people? Yang Tai kicked the stone under his feet and complained. This is also an impossible thing. There were so many ninjas who had made contributions at that time, and they always had to give some ninjutsu. Take this. The old man said, flipping through 7 or 8 books and throwing them over. Yang flipped too much, water ran away. Instant water. Pa, the old man clapped his hands and said, this is the A-level instant body technique created by the second generation adults back then. The scroll is gone, but these cultivation experiences are clearly recorded, they are all similar. There are 2 characteristics of water escape. First, high speed gliding on the water. 2, if the volume of water exceeds the size of the caster, instant movement can be achieved. Speaking of people, it means that they can only be used in deep water. Yang Tai. This is grass, what do you want it for? The old man naturally saw Yang Tai's expression and shuddered, just say you're not discerning. This is an A-level instant body technique. Even if you don't usually need it, the instant body technique inside is solid. You need to figure it out thoroughly, it's not stronger than your daydreams. Yang Tai's expression moved and he suddenly felt a sense of enlightenment. Ninjutsu doesn't necessarily have to be learned, mastering practical tips inside is stronger than anything else. The door to instant thinking was opened, and something came to mind. For example, if you carry a kettle like I Love Luo and use water escape, won't you be able to save a lot of chakras? If we were to use a sealed scroll and fill 7 or 8 buckets of water, wouldn't that be perfect? According to the old man, combine ninjutsu. Old man, can combining ninjutsu with ordinary items be considered a combination of ninjutsu? Asked if he didn't understand. Of course, the combination of shadow clone with the sword in hand and wind done with the explosive talisman counts. What's going on, kid? What's on your mind? Gu Jie flipped through the book and looked at his grandson with a puzzled expression. Yang Tai nodded vigorously and said, old man, how about I use a sealing scroll to fill a few buckets of water? The old man, on the other hand, had a nonchalant expression and said, this method has been tried since World War II. 30-mile long scroll of rice noodles, you still need to open it and let out the water, the enemy has already killed you. How about detonating the sealing scroll directly so that the water can quickly come out? If we remove most of the stable runes from the sealed scroll and simply fill it with water, can we briefly seal the number of runes and make it as large as the detonating rune paper? Yang Tai's mind is spinning rapidly now. After all, his thinking is different from the people in Huo Ying. Has divergent thinking. Mr. Gu Jia stopped talking and lowered his head to think about feasibility. His great-grandson always had some wild ideas. It's like when I was a child, I had to be some Spider-Man, learn to spin like a spider, and move around, not to mention it's quite useful. You can give it a try. If successful, the water escape ninja will be like an ordinary ninja. After all, ordinary water-run ninjas have a serious polarization. In places with water, they are like grandfathers, while in places without water, they are like grandsons. You go back and try it out. If you succeed, your situation will be much better, but now let's sort this out. The old man agreed with Yang Tai's method and immediately pointed to the 3 boxes. Oh, good. Yang Tai agreed, her mind filled with shadows of various combinations of ninjutsu. You said you didn't notice it before, really. At night. Yang Tai was alone in the room tinkering with a mess of scrolls. Who finally succeeded. A piece of A4 paper was covered in dense runes, and Yang Tai smiled with some relief. Walk to the wooden bucket filled with water, place the paper on the water surface, quickly seal it, and say, seal. Poo-poo poo-poo. In less than a minute, the sealing paper filled all the water in. Yang Taishin picked it up from the bottom of the wooden barrel and looked at it. Because the sealing paper is made of special paper, it usually does not get wet. The effect is pretty good, it seems like there's a bit of leakage. Is there a problem with that rune section? Yang Tai is still very satisfied. After all, it took less than 2 hours to fix it, and some flaws are completely acceptable. We still need to give things a try. Let's go to the nearby 17th training ground, as there happens to be a river nearby. Zai Zai carefully drew a seal paper again, and Yang Tai sneaked out. In the neighboring room, the old man flipped over and muttered, "You're still young and energetic." 17 Cultivation Ground. Observing around to make sure no one was around, Yang Tai appeared and stood in the field preparing. Usually, there are not many people who come to practice at night. Yang Tai has been practicing here since childhood, and sometimes he also meets many people. Stick the small explosive symbol on the sealing paper, and Yang Tai controls the distance and throws it into the air. Explosive symbols come in different sizes, with the smaller ones used for melee, just like the 3rd generation. Bang! Water splashed everywhere. Yang Tai quickly formed 2 seals and said, "Water escape. Water formation wall." The 4 scattered waters in the air all converge in front of Yang Tai and form a water wall. Sure enough. Chakra only consumes about 2/10. Previously, a maximum of 2 ninjutsus could be used, but now at least 6 can be used. Yang Tai smiled and quickly made 4 marks, Shui done. Shui Dan. The water wall in front of me wriggled and turned into a ferocious water tap attacking towards the distance. Bang! Yang Tai quickly ran over and looked at the small pit on the ground, couldn't help but show a joyful expression. This power, if hit by an ordinary ninja, the opponent will immediately lose their combat power and can only be slaughtered by others. If I succeed, wouldn't that instant water book be usable on the ground? Waha! Tell the old man to go tomorrow. Hey, thinking of the old man, Yang Tai felt a bit speechless. If only she had the same skills as the old man. It's very simple. The first time Yang Tai used a water tap in front of the old man taught him a lesson. With the help of the water cannon, it dispersed into droplets in the sky, and with just one glance, Yang Tai was defeated. But now this sealing paper is still a bit big. We will continue to improve it when we go back. Tomorrow, the old man will be in charge. Chapter 6. Water Escape and Instant Water, Modified. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the morning. At the dining table, Yang Tai smiled and pushed a half-palm-sized seal paper in front of the old man. Take a look. Children just like to show off. Gu Jie took a closer look and praised them, saying, "It's really done well, but I don't know how it will be in actual combat." As he spoke, the old man walked to the small courtyard on his own, pasted a detonating symbol and threw it, causing splashes of water. "It's really good. You can also make more pictures for the old man later. But can you add more water to this?" Gu Jie patted Yang Tai's shoulder as encouragement and immediately asked the core question. "There's no problem with the amount of water. This one is just an experimental sample, so it's not packed enough. However, old man, I'm in trouble." Speaking, Yang Tai still couldn't figure it out, so he took out a seal paper and handed it to the old man. Gu Jie looked at it strangely and said, "Isn't that good? What's the trouble? Isn't the ninjutsu, instant water, able to slide at high speed on water? I just want to stick it on the sole of my shoe, so I can also slide on the ground, can't I? But I tried all night and could only slide a few times in place." It was this question that kept Yang Tai puzzled all night. Where exactly was the key? Gu Jie listened carefully, pondered for a moment, and suddenly laughed. I see. Although he had not studied instant water, he was old and had a smooth understanding of some things. You stick this on your toes and let the water flow forward, like skiing. Give it a try. Yang Tai was first delighted, and then became speechless. How could such a simple reason be incomprehensible? Gigi, suddenly, a small bird with yellow feathers flapped its wings and stopped on Gu Jie's shoulder, gently pecking at its wings. "Old man, you're going on a mission." Yang Tai smiled and poked the bird with his finger. "This guy really doesn't recognize anyone. I'll go out first, you can slowly study it yourself." The old man instructed him a few words, took care of his affairs, and waved his hand before leaving the door. Returning to the room, Yang Tai studied for a while again, and as a result, it was almost a waste of work. Yang Tai lay weakly in bed, feeling a bit disheartened. According to this concept, it was actually just like ice skates, with a mediocre effect. Turning her head to look at a few books by the bedside, Yang Tai still felt a bit unwilling and picked up another one to start flipping through. Use the technique of teleportation contracts to teleport in the water. Lying groove, lying groove. What did the Sparrow King discover? Yang Tai hurriedly stood up and read carefully. So this teleportation is real. I thought it was a high-speed movement like teleportation. The ninjutsu created by the second-generation Hokage can be fully explained in this way. It's simply a simplified version of Flying Thunder God technique. No wonder it's hard to say what kind of ninjutsu the Flying Thunder God is in the forum before. Some say it's using magical language like spatial coordinates, but what's important is that both myself and most people believe it. It seems like nonsense now. The Flying Thunder God is actually a modified version of teleportation, using a method similar to reverse teleportation to move. Qianqiu Kaijian was jokingly referred to as the master of forbidden arts by various netizens in his past life, but now it seems more appropriate to call him the master of spiritual communication. The rebirth of filth, using blood as a medium to summon the dead, is not like a teleportation technique. Is there any shadow of teleportation when multiplying explosive symbols with each other? As for the Flying Thunder God, it's more like it. Yang Tai was very excited and put down the book in his hand. He quickly picked up a brush and modified the sealing paper. First, it was shaped like a water column. Secondly, the height needed to be about 2 meters, with a width of 1.5 meters and a length of 6 meters. Okay, go give it a try. Yang Tai couldn't wait to go. Training ground number 17 was filled with water in a nearby stream. The next step is to use a method of entering into a contract by fusing the water inside the seal paper with one's own chakra. Learning the ninjutsu of instant water generally requires 3 requirements. Firstly, one can use instant body techniques, sealing techniques, and needs to temporarily enter into a contract with water, with super strong chakra control. These 3 requirements are not a big deal for Yang Tai. He is proficient in both instant body technique and seal technique. As for chakra control, since childhood, chakra has received little training and is comparable to a medical ninja. About 3 minutes later, Yang Tai stopped and wiped her sweat. It's really not human work, half of her chakra. However, looking at the seal paper in his hand, he still laughed foolishly. Stick the sealing paper on the handle of Kuwu, it's just right, so it has a more flying thunder god flavor. Control the distance well, raise your hand and throw it away. At a position of 3 meters, Yang Tai's expression is solemn, and he is always ready before printing with one hand. Explosion. Bang. A 6-meter cylindrical water column suddenly appeared, and Yang Tai rushed towards her. With a whoosh, she disappeared into place and instantly appeared 3 meters away. I'm a mother. The water flowed everywhere, and Yang Tai became a drowned rat, getting wet all over his body. It is obvious that Yang was too successful. Launching the instant water chakra does not consume much, and he is not yet familiar with the instant water ninjutsu. It is estimated that he can cast it more than 10 times, and there will definitely be more in the future. However, there is another issue. At a distance of 6 meters, it was blocked at a distance of 3 meters. Obviously, the sealing paper still needs further improvement. Just now, the detonating symbol exploded in the middle, causing the water column to explode, resulting in an operation that only teleports halfway. This still needs to be pondered over slowly, but Yang Tai has a clumsy method of widening and thickening, which may shorten the distance, but can ensure safe teleportation. A straight line is definitely not enough, it needs to be designed for turning. Thinking about it, Yang Tai continued to experiment and after several trials, finally decided on a 4-meter template. Looking at the bitterness in his hand, Yang Tai couldn't help but sigh. In the past, he read the Will of Fire and imitated the 4 generations of fire shadows. It's just for the sake of doing better in the Hokage series in the future, and now even the basic flying thunder god has been developed. Think about it, it's really a stroke of fate. Since we want to do it, let's make the whole set. Today, we'll customize the 3 forks of Kuwu. The Zhongren exam will definitely surprise the old man. 7 days. 53 forks of Kuwu custom made by Yang Tai have finally finished. Stepping out of the cutting tool shop, Yang Tai happily played with a trident without any worries. In the past few days, there has been a significant breakthrough in the research of sealing paper, which is also gratifying, but I can't make a long-range stable version temporarily before the exam. However, now the 4-meter template already has a curved version, shaped like AC, which can appear instantly at any position on this water column. Wow, help. Naruto, Kayamaru Trio. Yang Tai turned her head and saw the 4 of them running frantically in her direction, followed closely by a red figure behind her, which was Huo Ying. Yang Tai, help me. Naruto saw Yang Tai approaching and quickly shouted for help. Yang Tai, go away. They're dead today. Huo Ying's angry voice came, and Yang Tai let go of her hand that was about to say hello. Quickly looking at the template wall next to him, he muttered to himself, oh my, the wooden wall is really beautiful today. Boss, your friend is also too ungrateful. He doesn't talk about loyalty like we do, Kiba boasted to Naruto. Naruto burst into tears upon hearing this and continued to run towards the distance. Who caused Sakura to get angry is unknown in her heart. Ah, it hurts so much. Yang Tai turned around in an instant and saw Mu Yemru fall to the ground, not good. Hurriedly rushed over. Sand Ninja. Kenjolang. Hand Bao. Unexpectedly, this incident still happened. Is it a historical trajectory? Ah, it's so sad. Kid, it hurts a lot, you know what. Kenjulang picked up Kayamaru directly. Sorry, it's our fault. Sakura rushed over to apologize at this moment. She didn't expect such a thing to happen, but these two people were dressed strangely and from somewhere. Forget it, Kenjulang, don't cause trouble. This time. You know, he reminded with a bow and a pout. Fatty guy, let go of him, Naruto shouted as he saw Kiba Maru moaning and immediately pointed at Kenjiro. Chapter 7. Battle Sand Ninja Triad, Revised. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Kenjulang raised his eyebrows and hummed, but it was just a matter of enduring under the wooden leaves, daring to speak to him like that. Before I Luo comes over, I'll play first. He turned his head and smiled at his opponent Ju, without any bird singing. Ba Jie Yalu. Naruto, upon seeing the situation, angrily charged towards Kenjiro, intending to show him some color. Is this the lower tolerance of Kiba? Is it so direct? Kenjulang's mouth curved and he gently pulled the chakra thread on his hand. The rushing Naruto stumbled and was about to fall to the ground. Chang. A trident of Kuwu attached to chakra severed the chakra thread and inserted it between Kenjiro and Naruto. Yang Tai's instant body technique appeared in Naruto and helped him up. What's going on? Naruto looked around and asked in confusion. Upon hearing these words, 3 black lines appeared in Yang Tai's mind. Wouldn't this guy say thank you first? This is the chakra line of the Sand Ninja Puppet Master, which can only be cut with a weapon attached to the chakra. Chakra line. Naruto shook his head, indicating that he didn't understand. Fools, they are ninjas from Sand Hidden Village in the Wind Country, they are foreigners. Sakura, on the other hand, struck Naruto's head with an explosive chestnut. Kenjulang glanced at San Cha Ku Wu on the ground, then at Yang Tai and said, your lower tolerance of Muyi is really weak and poor, you don't even understand common sense. Naruto's expression exclaimed, weak. After spitting out a word, his eyes widened instantly and he pointed at Kenjiro and said harshly, say one more thing, I'll beat you up. Yang Tai's expression was unsightly. Although he knew this guy wouldn't dare to take it seriously, he was pointed at by a foreigner and said, no, I can't calm down. In his past life, a foreigner spoke harshly in front of Yang Tai, and he was so angry that he grabbed a stool and was beaten to pieces. As soon as Yang Tai was about to approach, she was caught by Sakura. My Maru is still in the opponent's hands. Let's figure out a way. How uncomfortable. Upon hearing Kayamaru's moans, Naruto pointed at Kenjiro and said, big black pig, hurry up and release Kayamaru, otherwise I won't be able to spare you. Shocking. Huo Ying was immediately startled and immediately grabbed Naruto's neck. You idiot, you're still provoking him. I hate dwarves the most, Kenjiro joked as he looked at Naruto and his group. How dare he openly kill people in my village? He just played with these few people, but this dwarf must suffer some hardships. Kill this dwarf Wintermelon first. Yang Tai's face was even more ugly, like a foreigner running into his own house to show off his strength. Who can bear it? Take a step forward, explode. A C-shaped water column appeared in the field, causing everyone to be surprised. Before Naruto could react, Kayamaru flipped his head in the air and threw it into Naruto's arms. It hurts so much. Kayamaru, you're okay. So powerful. When? Sakura also covered her mouth and exclaimed in surprise, while the 2 runny little guys next to her widened their eyes. So fast. At this moment, a sound came from the tree. Upon hearing it, Sakura exclaimed with joy, Sasuke. Sasuke paid no attention to Sakura at all, just looked coldly at Yorita. When did this guy become stronger? Gudong. Kenjulang swallowed a mouthful of saliva and glanced at the trident Kuwu hanging around his neck. The cold blade pressed against his neck, and the cold air rushed straight to his head, causing drops of cold sweat to emerge. What kind of person is this? I can't even react to it myself, at least I have the speed to endure it. Remember, Muyi is not something that outsiders like you can provoke, Yang Tai said coldly. Whoosh whoosh. As Yang Taiyu's surplus light swept through, his pupils suddenly shrank and he caught a glimpse of a child carrying a big gourd on his back. I love Luo. Luo raised my hand and dozens of swords from the sand hand attacked me, not caring about the way I acted. Damn it. The instant body technique withdrew and widened the distance. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of the group of Sakura, with both hands imprinted. C. Water escape water formation wall. The scattered water flow came at lightning speed, forming a rotating water column around the crowd, blocking all the sand-wielding swords. Okay. What a powerful ninjutsu. Naruto stood in front of Kiba Maru and looked at the rapidly spinning water column in surprise. Is Yoda so strong? I can't do anything by myself, how can I fix it? Xiaoying also protected the two little guys and looked at Yang Tai, who was using ninjutsu, in shock. Yang Tai, isn't he a commoner? How could he be so strong? Right will eyes. Goyu spun at lightning speed, while Sasuke stared at the two in the field. Unexpectedly, Yang Tai could unleash such powerful ninjutsu, but it was still a bit inferior to himself. Immediately, his gaze turned to the person carrying the gourd on his back. The terrifying chakra had a feeling that made him tremble. Kenjialang, are you okay? Shoju took off the fan and asked with concern. Kenjialang shook his head, indicating that he was okay. This person's speed is really terrifying. It should be related to that strange no pain. As long as you handle him carefully, it shouldn't be a problem. Water escape. The art of water bullet. Yang Tai quickly produced 4 prints, taking less than a second. The rotating water column formed a ferocious water tap in an instant, swinging its tail left and right to rush towards my beloved Luo. The shield of the guardian crane. My eyes were cold, without any fear. My hands were clasped together, and the sand in the gourd gushed out like a fountain, forming a huge sand shield that blocked the 3 of them. Bang! Clattering. A huge force collided with the sand shield, creating a large pit. The water scattered everywhere, rushing down the wooden wall next to it, and many of them turned into droplets of water splashing all over the sky, as if it was drizzling around. Naruto wiped the water off his face and asked Sakura in uncertainty, the technique of water tap, how many seals did Sakura Kakashi leave? More than 40. A cold voice came, and Sasuke stood next to Yoshida. You've become stronger, Yoshida. Sasuke didn't expect that a ninjutsu that required more than 40 seals to be used for ninja, but it was actually used by Yang Tai's 4 seals. How can I see that Yang Tai has only formed 4 seals? Naruto looked incredulous and continued to ask with gestures and gestures. Naruto, this is not the time to discuss this issue. Let's first solve the problem at hand. Yang Tai's face was dark, and this guy's brain circuit was not ordinary and bizarre. Let you little ghosts see, my crow is powerful. Kenjialang saw me, Ailua, retrieve the sand and immediately took off the puppet wrapped in bandages from his back, ready to take action. Hanbao also took off the fan and looked at a few people. You two should not embarrass yourself here. My cold and emotionless voice from Ai Luo came, and Kenjialang and his companions trembled in an instant. Shoju immediately put away the fan, wanting to explain that. We're just. Alright, there must be no problem with our purpose this time, he said and glanced at the sand on the ground, which was wet. Turning his gaze to Yang Tai, without any hesitation, he immediately exchanged a few glances with Sasuke's iconic Sharingan and said coldly, "What's your name?" Sasuke said coolly, "Uchiha Sasuke." "And you?" "Sandblast, I love Luo." They exchanged a few more glances with Sasuke, then turned and left. Kenjialang and his companions glanced at a few people and then left. Chapter 8. Spiritual Scroll, Modified. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. These people have finally left. What are the ninjas from Xiaoying village coming to us, my? Huo Ying patted her chest and breathed a sigh of relief. Just now, I felt too much pressure from AI Luo. Don't you know yet? Seeing the two of them shake their heads, Yang Tai also felt relieved and explained to Sasuke and the other three. I'm here to take the joint Chinese ninja exam. You've just been promoted to ninja for a while, so I shouldn't know yet. The so-called Joint Chinese Ninja Exam is an invitation from the Allied powers to hold the Chinese ninja exam together with other neighboring countries' ninja villages. Did you participate? Sasuke asked as he stared directly at Yang Tai. I participated. Why do you also want to participate in Erju? Yang Tai casually leaned on Erju's shoulder and said. Sasuke slapped Yang Tai's pig paw and threatened, do you still want to be beaten? Say it again, believe it or not, I'll kill you. Alright, it's still as smelly as before. Mrs. Yang waved her hand and made her old face blush. When she was young, she felt that Sasuke, who was 5 or 6 years old, was bullied, but she was severely beaten, so she couldn't hang on and called him, Two Pillars. Naruto asked in confusion, why do we have to take the exam together? On the surface, it is to increase emotions, but in reality, it is to ease the tension between countries, explained Yang Tai. Naruto excitedly said, can we participate? Generally speaking, you can only participate when you have been under ninja for 3 years, but if recommended by your ninja teacher, you should be able to participate. After explaining, Yang Tai saw Naruto and the two of them rushing to sign up with Kakashi. What a terrible love triangle. Watching the few people walk away, Yang Tai sighed. In fact, he has little interest in holding the protagonist's thigh, just put the other person's identity there, let's be more realistic and establish a good relationship. Immediately, Yang Tai's mouth curved upwards, and who else was there, Muyi Maru. He doesn't believe that during this period, the 3 generations of old men did not send secret forces to protect him. Thinking of taking back the bitterness that was still stuck on the ground, glancing at the somewhat messy ground around, sighing, and finding some tools to start organizing. Mainly for the show, there must be someone in the dark guarding around, and maybe the old hammer from the 3rd generation is still peeping. What does detail determine success or failure? His image as the 3rd best young man in the world cannot be destroyed. Ah Chio. 3rd generation rubbed their noses. It's not like someone was scolding my old man behind my back, right? I thought about continuing to look at the crystal ball, not bad, it's a good seedling. Immediately, the screen on the crystal ball turned around, smoke swirled, and 3 generations of the old man showed a lewd smile. Great. In the room. Yang Taijing was looking at the purple scroll in front of him. According to his father's record, it was a teleportation scroll that could teleport out of chakras. I'm not mistaken, it's a telepathic chakra. If you put 1 chakra in, you can telepathize 3 chakras. Generally, after 2 attempts, you won't telepathize any more chakras. You can cool it down for 2 to 3 days before continuing to use it. And the origin of this spiritual scroll is during World War II, when my grandfather went to the water country to participate in the war and signed a contract with a small fish that could absorb chakras. However, Yang Tai said that she had watched so many episodes of Hokage and had never heard of any little fish that could absorb chakras. She opened the scroll with some disbelief. There are only 2 names above, Blue Pool Kai Tai and Blue Pool Grey Earth, and below is the blood handprint. Blue Pool Yang Tai, alright. Yang Tai treated the wound and was still a bit excited to form a seal. Due to being unfamiliar with psychic techniques, the seal was a bit slow. Hai Suyushin Wei. The art of spiritual communication. Bang. Half of himself input, the psychic talisman array diffuses, smoke explodes, and a fist-sized blue chakra appears in front of Yang Tai, like a blue light bulb. The actual chakra. Generally speaking, chakras are invisible to the naked eye, unless they are the tail beast chakra or the condensed ninjutsu like spiral pills and ray cuts, in order to materialize. That is, the change in the properties of chakra. Yang Tai felt a little uneasy as her hand slowly approached this chakra without any feeling, as if a ball of water was flowing through her palm. Chakra entered the body very smoothly, and Yang Tai began to activate chakra. Although it may seem small, the quantity is quite substantial. I didn't expect it to be double the size of chakra, without any rejection or discomfort, but rather more condensed than my own chakra. This means that one's own chakra has reached several levels, and in the future, the use of ninjutsu chakras will not only decrease, but also relatively increase in power. At least 4 or 5 ninjutsu can be used now. Ha ha ha! Yang Tai laughed happily this time, and a tear slipped from the corner of her eye. Since crossing over, I have been planning a little in the east and a little in the west. In the end, I was only assigned to one teacher in the middle of the ninja exam, and in a few tasks, the ninja teacher became cold. For the next 5 years, he was eaten to death by this chakra, dressed in ninjutsu taught by an old man, and became a decoration that he dared not use. He could only play the role of a strategist in the team. Now that this shackle has finally been lifted, I will no longer be a mouse secretly poking and hiding behind my back. For several days in a row, Yang Tai was very happy to study and improve sealing paper and practice instant water, without worrying about chakra's problems. It was really enjoyable. The effect is also pleasing, and I have basically mastered the instant water. The next step is to gradually polish it over time. However, as the Chinese ninja exam approached, my previous plans were basically abandoned. It's just a small tolerance for oneself, where such a great reputation affects so many people. It seems that this plan needs to be changed. The core remains unchanged, and we will still gather the Konoha ninjas and pass through the Death Forest together. Otherwise, it would be difficult to pass the second exam with 2 procrastinators on your own. If you want to gather these people, you must have the benefit of being in line with everyone else. Otherwise, why should others be with you and rely on your face? Common interests. Thinking of this, Yang Tai immediately thought of taking a written exam. If these people passed the exam smoothly, wouldn't they have the opportunity to unite together? I know the general content of the exam, but if I want these people to believe me, I still need to think carefully. Otherwise, you can tell everyone that you can pass by submitting a blank paper, and not being beaten is considered your good character. The most important thing is that Yang Tai must be prepared to be a nanny this time. Why? Little brother, you must understand what worldly wisdom means. Ninja School. Looking at the big ninja character at the door, Yang Tai greeted Dai and Little Fatty to enter together. Yang Tai, there are many people, that's the ninja from Rain Ninja Village. Yuan Shodai looked at the ninja in front and poked Yang Tai, asking. Well, when encountering this Rain, be careful of their ferocity and it's particularly easy to fight people hard. Yang Tai nodded and said cautiously. During a mission, when encountering Rain Nin, Yang Tai almost handed it over, and now thinking about it, I still feel a little uneasy. As soon as the 3 of them arrived at the entrance of 201, Yang Tai saw Chang Wei bringing blessings. No, the goalkeeper is hitting Xiao Li. Xiao Li, you 2 act too falsely every day, right? Yang Tai said as she walked up to the 2 and reached out to pick them up. Even if you want to hide it, there's no need for that, right? Ning Ci. Xiao Li awkwardly scratched his head, and every day he mischievously spat out his cute tongue, which was not the same as his disheveled face just now. The 2 of them insist on playing, what can I do? Ning Ci shook her head gently, saying she couldn't stop him. Most of the people present saw it, what else are you playing? What kind of intelligence can you gather? It's meaningless. Yang Tai said to Sasuke Fang. Sasuke confidently walked out and said, alright, let's both unlock the illusion. Chapter 9. Alliance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh, I didn't expect anyone to see it, but it's still far from enough. Speaking, the left goalkeeper quickly punched Sasuke. Sasuke showed no weakness and kicked the newcomer with a fierce whip. Pop. A green figure appeared in front of the two, and then they attacked. The two were also very shocked, especially Sasuke. Just now, he saw the watermelon head being pressed and rubbed against the ground, and now he can easily block their attack. This is too hidden, isn't it? How could it be? How impressive. That blonde hair is so fast. How could it be? At some point, Sasuke was startled. At this moment, two Yang Tais each held a trident of bitterness and stood between the necks of two guards. Alright, let's make way, both of you. Yang Tai smiled and released her shadow clone. This is his first step plan for today, to let everyone present know that he is a tough guy, with a face that says you must not provoke me. Oh, okay, you've passed. The two of them pushed open the door, signaling that everyone could enter. Everyone, let's go, Yang Tai greeted Xiao Li and the others. Sasuke looked at Yurita with serious eyes, and this guy was becoming increasingly difficult to see through. Effort can indeed surpass genius. Xiao Li is very knowledgeable about Yang Tai. Whenever they have free time, they exercise and compete with each other. Immediately, his gaze turned to Sasuke who was entering, and he happened to have a sparring with the genius the first examination room. As soon as Yang Tai came in, he called on these two oil tankers and asked them to gather the familiar Konoha ninjas together. As soon as Naruto and his team entered, they were pulled over by Yang Tai. At this point, most of the people in the entire examination room turned their gaze towards it. What exactly is this blonde little devil up to? Yang Tai, why are you rushing to pull us over so urgently? Naruto King Tua Yang Tai asked with a puzzled expression on his face. As soon as I entered, I was startled and immediately pulled over by Yang Tai without saying a word, feeling a bit unhappy. 21 people all looked at Yang Tai, and like Naruto, they wanted to know what kind of medicine this guy's gourd was selling. If it weren't for this guy's good popularity, I and others would have left long ago. It's ready soon. Yang Tai smiled slightly, covered her face, took out a scroll to open, and quickly formed a seal. Open. Quickly roll a scroll around the center, forming a transparent shield to surround everyone. This is a barrier that isolates sound, but just in case, everyone will still cover their mouths when speaking later. Time is tight. To make a long story short, I would like to invite everyone to form an alliance. Alliance. I have taken the ninja exam 7 times and have never heard of anyone forming an alliance. Don't forget that although I am a Konoha ninja, we are all enemies when we enter the exam room. The pharmacist covered his mouth and pushed his eyes. Interesting. Yeah. Yang Tai, did you make a mistake? We are all enemies, how can we form an alliance? Inuzuka said impatiently, but luckily, the insect with Ji-Na blocked his mouth. Yang Tai smiled and said, Senior Do has never formed an alliance, but that doesn't mean he can't form an alliance. That's not realistic either. Even if we are an alliance, we must know what to take. Even if we know what to take, who will be the commander, there is also the benefit, otherwise. The pharmacist didn't continue, but everyone understood the meaning. Yang Tai, it's not that you want to be the captain and then command us. If that's the case, then forget it, Ye Piao pouted, looking displeased. The crowd also whispered impatiently. Yang Tai shook his head and when he zoomed in, he said, that's not what I meant. First of all, the issue of being the team leader is not the main focus, it's easy to solve. Let's draw lots. Seeing everyone nodding, Yang Tai continued, the important thing is that our alliance is definitely not now, it's the second exam. The second exam, Yang Tai, you have insider information. Tian was surprised and couldn't calm down when he saw Yang Tai's smile. This guy wouldn't really have insider information, right? Of course. No, cut. Everyone sneered in disdain. But according to my intelligence analysis, the first exam is a written test. If you look around, you will have a better understanding. Maybe some people already know. Yang Tai pointed to her own head and looked at Lu Maru in the crowd. This guy should have known for a long time. Everyone's gaze turned towards Lu Maru. This group of people had a clever mind. Troublesome guy. Lu Maru yawned and nodded. As soon as he came in, he could tell everything. As for the second exam, 80% of team tasks and 20% of people fighting. And the alliance should be above team tasks. Yang Tai analyzed. This is not realistic either. If the team is tasked, the probability of us being enemies is very high, and the biggest problem is trust. The pharmacist pushed his glasses and said the core issue, trust. Everyone also nodded. If a teammate attacked in a group, it would be a big trouble. Class 7, Class 8, Class 9, Class 10, they are all old classmates. You should have some trust in them, On Tai said with a smile on her face. The four classes looked at each other and nodded, even Sakura and Ino gave each other a cold snort and nodded. I have played from childhood to adulthood, and this is still something. Yang Tai smiled with relief and looked at the pharmacist Do, saying, Senior Do, we have completed tasks no less than 30 times. We should have this trust. The pharmacist smiled slightly and didn't speak, but everyone understood the meaning. Since everyone is bastard. What about me? Yamamoto Izuma roared angrily. This guy must have intentionally ignored me. Yang Tai dug out her ear and said, Alright, what are you yelling at? Do you still need an explanation? Everyone knows, okay. Hahaha, Yen Yu and Yang Tai still haven't changed. Everyone laughed, and when they were in first and second grade, Yang Tai was already in fourth grade, so they were all classmates. Seeing everyone laughing incessantly, On Tai clapped her hands and said, This is also the confidence that I dare to ally with everyone. Of course, what Senior Do said is also reasonable, mainly because we may encounter issues of interest, but I believe there will be a decisive solution to this problem, and there is no need to rush to answer it. Before that, I will send you an important piece of intelligence. With this intelligence, you can almost pass the written test perfectly. Is it possible to pass the written test almost perfectly? Naruto looked incredulous as he pointed to his nose and asked, Yang Tai, can I pass? Everyone knows how poor one's theoretical knowledge is, and if one can pass it, everyone will have no problem. For a moment, everyone was waiting for Yang Tai's words, among which several Naruto and a few poor students were the most urgent. Plan 2 was successfully completed, and Yang Tai explained, Firstly, in this written test, all the questions are 100% beyond the outline. We are afraid that Sakura alone will be able to get everything right, and even I will have to make 1 or 2 mistakes. No way, Sakura said shyly as she received everyone's gaze, but upon seeing Ino's disdainful expression, she immediately glared angrily. Yang Tai patted her forehead and said to the two enemies, And among us candidates, there must be 1 or 2 candidates who know the answer sneaking in, so what we need to do is find a way to plagiarize. At this moment, Naruto raised his hand and said, What if you can't copy it? Everyone thought to themselves, Indeed, what if the distance is too far to copy? I'll put it another way, this exam is like a task of collecting intelligence. Identify targets, collect intelligence, transmit intelligence, and keep intelligence confidential. Taking these 4 points as the core, let's take Naruto and his team as an example. As long as Sakura finishes writing the test paper, erases all of it, and replaces it with similar answers, Naruto and Sasuke can submit a blank paper. No way. You can submit a blank paper. Don't talk nonsense. Naruto looked like I have read fewer books, so don't deceive me. Lumaru, what do you think? Inoue asked anxiously. Her theoretical knowledge was already average, and with the problem exceeding the outline, it was certain when Inoue asked this question, everyone's eyes converged again. Lumaru pondered carefully this time and said, "You should be able to submit a blank paper, but as long as you stay calm." "What does it mean?" Everyone was puzzled. Yang Tai gave a thumbs up to Lumaru and explained, "If I analyze well, the invigilator will get a score as soon as they come up, scaring us out of these exams and making us retreat. This is a psychological battle, everyone just fart, of course, there are also some details." Outside the barrier, a group of candidates pointed to a few people inside and whispered non-stop. "What are these people saying?" "Who knows, in my opinion, they are all clowns." Chapter 10. Ambush and Raid, Modified. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The exam is over. Senai Yabixi silently collected the test paper, and there was also an invigilator reporting next to him. Lan Chiang Tai, a very good ninja, carefully archives all the records of excellent candidates, which is their promotion to ninja capital. After assigning the task, Mori Naibishi walked to the window and looked deep into the direction of the death forest in the distance. More than 100 people, half of the Konoha ninjas, it seems that this year's ninja exam is becoming more and more interesting. In the boundary. It seems that everyone is very satisfied with this written test. Yang Tai gathered a group of people again and smiled as they looked at each other's happy expressions. "It's all thanks to Yang Tai's intelligence," Inoue said happily. Everyone nodded slightly and had to say that Yang Tai's intelligence analysis ability was really accurate. Thank you all for your recognition. Returning to the main topic, this is a 5-day survival exercise, but I believe it is a task of obtaining and delivering intelligence. Firstly, we will enter each entrance to obtain the required scrolls. Then, our gathering point will be in the northeast direction. As for other issues, we will discuss them after gathering. Time is tight, let me share with everyone that I have a perfect plan to pass the second exam. Yang Tai said and withdrew the barrier. Let's take action, everyone. The 7 teams nodded and entered the death forest separately. Yang Tai, what are we going to do now? Asked the chubby little Jintian, shuttling through the tall forest. Yang Tai commanded the 2 people who were looking over, first, we need to deal with the food. Let's go out of the good village to catch some prey on your behalf. Fatty guy, try to perceive the surroundings as much as possible and report the situation immediately. We have entered a location with a bit of sand tolerance, so be careful of the poison. Okay. The art of teleportation. Bang. Meow. What are you looking for me for, meow? A cute tricolor kitten appeared in front of the 3 of them. Liangxiang, could you please go to the nearby area to catch some prey and come back? Yuan Shodai masturbated the little guy and said gently. Okay, meow. He meowed and a few figures flashed by before disappearing into the forest. The speed of Liangxiang is still so fast, the chubby little man exclaimed with some envy, not knowing when he would have a spirit beast. Alright, it's already afternoon and it's not suitable to move forward. Let's set up some warning devices first, said Yang Tai, taking out the steel wire and detonating symbol to start arranging. There's no way, carrying 2 oil bottles is too dangerous, we can only be a little conservative. In no time, the little one caught 2 fat rabbits and came back. After cleaning up, the 2 of them saw Yang prepare various seasonings too early and said, why are you preparing so many seasonings? Yang Tai glanced at the 2 of them and said, nonsense, of course it's feeding the 5 organs temple, otherwise you guys are going to. Meow, Liangxiang has found someone else, meow. The kitten's voice interrupted Yang Tai's words. However, Yang Taisai didn't pay any attention and immediately asked, where is it? 3 miles south, moving towards the center tower position, meow. Liangxiang tilted his head and shook his beautiful tail to answer. Yang Taishin's mind was spinning, and he immediately took out a small notebook and drew a simple map. These 3 people can completely ambush a wave, and once planned for 3 minutes, the battle can be resolved. Dai, if you and Liangxiang go around and harass these 3 people, my shadow clone will follow you and drive in this direction. If necessary, you can use the explosive talisman to create the illusion of someone nearby. Fatty guy, you and I should go in front of them and make as many traps as possible to prepare for ambush. Do you understand? Understood. The two nodded together, and Yang Tai smiled with relief. Fortunately, these two were quite obedient, otherwise it would be troublesome. Let's eat our stomachs first before taking action. Near the ambush zone. Yang Tu fiercely opened his eyes. Is Sha Nin? Fatty guy, according to the news from the shadow clone, it's 3 sand ninjas. Prepare gas masks. Okay. The chubby little man exclaimed in perfect cooperation as he put on his mask and was always ready to take action. Here we go, the chubby boy reminded with a loud cry. In the distance, 3 people wrapped in headscarves were rushing over, as if someone was chasing after them. Yang Tai pressed his hand and used Fatty to be quiet, watching as the 3 of them quickly approached and ambushed in a circle. Boom! Quickly withdraw, there is an ambush. Sha Ren shouted, quickly imprinted and took a deep breath, blowing forward fiercely. Wind escape. Great breakthrough. A huge passage pierced through the smoke and dust, and 3 sand ninjas quickly escaped. It's late. Explosion. Yang Tai let out a soft shout, and in an instant, 5 large splashes of water burst out around the 3 of them. What, the empty land can use such a large water escape? The leader Sha couldn't help but be shocked, and Shangren was just like that. The woman with eyeshadow next to her reminded, no, this is not ninja, it's just ordinary water. Run. I see, no wonder there was no harm, it turned out to be just a bluff. Who said ordinary water can't hurt people? Take action. Yang Tai gave an order, and 2 figures immediately rushed out of the grass. The clone technique. 3 sand ninjas approached, and the female teammate asked in confusion. It should be the shadow clone technique of Mu Yi. Be careful, these are all physical entities and cannot be careless, said the leader, meaning. It seems that this is a tough battle. Yang Tai, with 2 shadow clones, quickly formed a seal and faced Sha Ren San's bread clip, Si Wei Wu Mao, water escape. The art of the great water prison. Yang Taiha and 2 shadow clones simultaneously took a shot underground, the previously dispersed water flow quickly enveloped the 3 people, and the speed was so fast that the 3 sand ninjas did not react at all. How can it be repaired? My body is so heavy, I have difficulty breathing, and I can't even move. Nu Sha tried to move her body, but unfortunately she couldn't move at all. Wait a moment, I'm willing to hand over the scroll. Sha Nin, the leader, worked hard and reached into the cutting tool bag, wanting to take out the scroll. It's too late. Go. Yang replied coldly, carrying 2 oil bottles with him. Nothing should happen, otherwise his previous efforts would be in vain. The 3 sand bearers felt a chill in their hearts, their frightened expressions indicating that they still wanted to live. We give up, we surrender. Yuan Shuodai and Xiao Pengzi Yiming quickly rushed out at the command of Dao Yangtai, throwing out the sword wrapped in steel wire, pulling it hard, the crimson color scattered everywhere, and the 3 heads landed heavily. That's great. Yang Tai breathed a sigh of relief as he untied his ninjutsu and saw too many scenes. I didn't feel anything at all, after all, kindness to the enemy is cruelty to myself. Speaking of these 3 people using the water prison technique together, it really wastes chakra and consumes about half of it. I didn't expect that Yang Tai was hiding such a skill. She used to be submissive, was she pretending? Yuan Shuodai walked over and took off his gas mask, looking up and down at Yang Tai with a skeptical expression. This guy is too dishonest, he always hides and hides. Yeah. There are only 3 walnuts and 2 dates hidden inside. Today, we must explain everything, be honest and lenient, and resist strictly. The chubby little man took off his mask and came over with a scroll, teasing him. Yang Tai's face is full of black lines. I think he should be honest and lenient, sit in prison, resist strictly, and go home for the Chinese New Year. I don't have anything. Die. What's wrong with you? Just now, there was a mention of laughter, but suddenly, powerless, he flipped over to the ground. Yang Taishang stepped forward and helped him, toxic, weak all over, unable to exert force. Yang Taishin's heart sank, and he was able to defend himself with all his might. However, fortunately, he didn't take off his gas mask, which was not good. Don't use the fat guy's gas mask. Bang! Before he could finish speaking, the chubby boy let out a cry and fell to the ground. Yang Tai immediately put on the gas mask for the two of them. Immediately, his gaze locked onto the scroll and he placed the poisoned scroll into a special plastic bag. Jia, it seems that you have been drugged by San Yuan and others.